So day 19, we covered events. So basically, in the JavaScript, we can assign what is called event listener. Basically, the idea is that you have some element on the page, and then you have some listener which is checking for an event of that element. So basically, if a person on the website does something, then it's recorded and then something happens. Let me show you how this looks. So here from the class, we have 3 buttons. So first button is coded, so when I hover, you see a message in the console on the bottom. So you see I hover and then something happens here. If I press it, then it gives another command. If I press it twice, then third kind of command. And then these buttons have also listeners. So, well, this one had 3. So 1 for hovering, 1 for pressing twice. If I press this one, it changes color and it says which color it is now. If I press again, it changes color and keeps going basically. With this button, it again changes the button, it spreads it, changes the state of it, and that's all done here. So this is for the first button. So if I click, it says that it's clicked. If I double click it, it says it's double clicked. So these are parts of code from JavaScript. So I just use these, don't program those, but then we assign them to a certain like what they do. Yeah, so like we assign the variable, assign it to the file, give it a name, and then use the variable to add a listener, event listener. Yeah, and then we use data sets, which lets us see if it's pressed or unpressed. Yeah, and also last thing that we covered is we started fetching information from API. So we have this link where there's some information. If I refresh, see. So here it gets the data. This is the buying information from randomly, I think it's randomly generated sale, and we will have to build that into an invoice. That will be our next task. So that's all we got time to cover, and I can see how we can use the those event listeners for different things. It's something I forgot to show. So here we built this with the same event listeners. Basically, when you press on this, it makes the width of the bottom part bigger because it's by default set to 0, so you cannot see it, but then you can once it's pressed. And those event listeners can be all different kinds of things. So here we had pressing or clicking, but it can be scroll as well, which I can see how I can use for making the menu change color as you're scrolling down. So yeah, that's the update for day 19. I have slight headache, so it's shorter this time.